Okay folks, so here's a quick reminder of the things that you need to check before the 17th of September when MOL modules go live to students for semester 1. So you may have already done all of this or most of it, but I think these are the really critical top 10 things you need to make sure you've done. Okay, so first of all, just a quick warning to those that aren't aware, hopefully you are, most of you, MOL has changed this summer. There is a new way of rolling modules over. So what used to be a very automated process where Kix just rolled the module for you, that's been replaced by something called course refresh, where basically module leaders have to roll their own modules, and this is something they'll need to do in the future. This summer, myself and the other learning technologists have been volunteering to handhold during this process, and that offer's still on between now and the 17th of September. But for anyone who hasn't rolled their module, I would urge you to get in touch with myself, Dan or James, so that we can get that done. The only other thing to mention at this stage is MOL has also independently had a little bit of an upgrade this summer, and when you log in it will look a bit different. There are some subtle changes. I think generally it's an improvement, which is a good thing, but it may look slightly different to what it did last year. Okay, so the first point is make sure, as I say, you've rolled your module. Get in touch with us if you haven't. There is a new SHA template that we're using as well, which means that your content may need to be slightly reorganised to fit in with the template, but so far that's been a fairly smooth process, hasn't caused any problems for the modules that have rolled. Secondly, check that your module is going to be available, and I'll show you how to check that in just a second, and also hide things if you don't want them to be viewed by your students straight away as soon as they log in. So first let's check, I'll show you how you check the module availability. Okay, so by default they should all go live on the 17th of September at 23:59 I believe, which is the night before intro week starts. To check this for your module, go into a module, here's an example one here, go to the control panel at the bottom, and then go to customization, and finally click on properties. You'll then see various things. If you scroll down at the very bottom you will see the course duration, and notice here by default it should have used term duration, which means it will go live on the 17th of September. Now if you don't want that, you can overwrite it. You can say I want to select the dates here, and you can choose what you like in terms of starting and end dates. But if you're happy for it to go live the night before intro week starts, just leave it on use term duration. However, be aware that on the 17th your module will become live. So if there's anything here you want to hide, make sure it's hidden. So to hide something, you need to click on the arrow next to the area and click on hide link. Or if you want to hide something within a content area, so for example within module content, you need to click on a folder and click edit next to a folder, and then scroll down, and it's where it says permit users to view this content. You need to click no and then click submit. Okay, so that's how you can selectively hide things. So in essence, make sure what you want the students to see initially is what you think they're going to see. It's worth checking, and an easy way to check this, if you click on the student view, enter student preview mode, after a few seconds it opens up. You will then be able to see exactly what the students can see, so it's a good way of checking that they're seeing what you want them to see to begin with. Moving on, so number 3, are the correct tutors enrolled on your module? And this is how you check that. So again, go to your module, scroll down to the control panel, select users and groups, and then click on manage users. And what you'll see is a list of people who are enrolled on your module. You may just see the first 25 like I'm seeing. There are actually 35 on this module, so if you want to see all of them you can click show all. It will show you all, in this case 35, and it's really just a question of looking through these, making sure that the people that are here should be here. If there are people here who shouldn't be here, you can remove them by ticking the box. Just be careful with this, so you can tick a name or more than one name and click remove from this course. Likewise, if there's somebody who isn't here that should be here, you can click add, and then you can add them by, if you know their username, you can type it straight in here and click submit, or you can search for them based on various different criteria and find their username. Okay, so that's how you can add new people. It's worth saying that the students will automatically become enrolled on this module, so you don't have to worry about the students. We're really just looking at staff. Okay, so the next thing is the staff contacts area. This is a new part of the new templates, and I'm asking staff to add their contact details in their MOL module using the staff contacts area. Okay, so again, go to a module and you'll see an area called staff contacts near the top of the menu. If you click on that, now there's a couple already done here, but if you wanted to add anybody else, or if this is a module where there was no one, you just click create contact, and you can do this on behalf of other staff too. And then basically just put the details in, so you know, put in as little or as much as you like here. The email is essential. As you can see, it's got an asterisk. Some of the things you might not want to put, your office hours in, but at least put your name and your contact email address in here, please. You can add an image if you like, and you can also link to your personal web page on CMS, and then click submit. Moving swiftly on, this one I think speaks for itself. Make sure you just go and check the assessment information, so just go and have a look, make sure it's still relevant, check the hand-in dates, perhaps most importantly are for the coming year, not for last year, and make sure that these pieces of information don't exist in more than one place and are contradictory. Okay. And again, in order to find that, if you go to your module, every module will have an assessment area, and the information I've just spoken about should all be inside here. It shouldn't really exist anywhere else to limit it being a duplicate of information in more than one place. So for example, on this module we've got hand-in dates here from 2016. Make sure they get updated. The way to do that here would be to go to an item where the dates are being displayed, click on this arrow and go to edit. It will take you into the editor where you can sort of scroll down and go in and make the edits and then click submit. So a quick question, do you plan to gradually release your module content? I think the answer for most people is yes. Make sure in that case that you have set up some criteria to do that. So for example, on this particular module I have switched the student preview mode on, and you can see that under module content we have folders for each of the sessions, and they are all available at the moment. So come the 17th of September, a student will be able to see and access all of these. We don't want that to happen, so the way to do that is go back to the tutor view and change the availability, and this is how you do it. Okay, so I'm back in the edit mode on in the tutor view. I've clicked on module content, and supposing I want to limit some of these, so session 3 I don't want to release until sometime in October, for example, I click this arrow and I can click edit, and then it's just a case of scrolling down and adjusting these date and time restrictions. So for example, I might want to display this at the beginning of week 3, which is the 9th of October. I can say display after, and I can set it to the 9th of October at, I don't know, say 9 o'clock, and I click submit. And not only has it restricted that until the 9th of October, but it also tells me here as a little reminder about the availability, so I can see at a glance that the students can't see that yet. Obviously I recommend going through and doing that for each of the weeks or sessions through to the end. So number 7 is to check your module's content collection. So this is, I understand that this is an area that causes some people some anxiety. Essentially all of the files that you are making available to your students via your MOL module do exist. They actually live in the back end in something called the content collection for each module. In there you can control sort of the access to your files. Now by default, when a module rolls over, the permissions get reset, so if there is a particular PDF you want students to see, it's worth checking that the permissions are set so the students can access them, and this is how you do it. So again, using an example module here, if you go to a module, go to the control panel, or just below the control panel should I say, there's something called the content collection. Drop that down and click on the very first link. You will then see a list of all of your files that you're using now. It makes sense to put these into folders because you can see here there are actually 96 separate items. Much easier to manage these and manage the permissions of these files if they're in folders. However, basically what you need to do is find the file that you want the students to access and basically click permissions to the right of it. At the moment this is not publicly accessible. What you need to do to make it publicly accessible, and by publicly accessible I mean that your students can see these, is click on permit anyone. It doesn't mean anyone, so people outside of the mole module can't see this. By default, make sure that it's ticked to read and then click submit. And what you'll then see is at the very bottom of this list there's a new row that's been created, and that basically means all the students can access it. And then you click OK. You'll notice then there's a change of icons, so this particular PDF here is now available to all students. Now the reason I was banging on there about folders is to check all these can be accessed, you actually have to do them individually. If you create a folder and have all of these in a folder, you only have to do that once. You only have to change the permission on the folder itself. All of the files inside that folder will inherit the same permissions. If you link to the library with a reading list on your module, make sure that's updated. I actually am encouraging staff to email the library using the address here, readlist@sheffield.ac.uk, even if you just want to reuse the reading list that you had from last year, because the reading list has also updated this year. It's a new bit of software. So please email the library using that address and just say, I am the module leader on this module, I would like to reuse last year's reading list, and they will do that all for you. The new system they've brought in for reading lists means that in the future you will be able to update your own reading list, so it is an improvement, but you do need to just tell them if you want to reuse it again this year. This is a key one too. Discussion forums have a subscription system in place, so if you remember from previous years, you have to subscribe to a forum in order to automatically get notifications when new people post. Those subscriptions are reset every year, so you do need to actively resubscribe to each forum that you want to be notified about, and this is how you do it. So go to your module, click on the discussion board link on the left menu. You will see a list of forums on your module. Click on any forum, so for example this one, general questions, and you will see a subscribe button at the top. You'll notice it's not being clicked, so I encourage people to subscribe. It will then turn to unsubscribe, meaning you have subscribed to it, and then when tutors or students post in that forum, you will automatically get an email notification. Finally, check your content, and again this one seems obvious, but it does happen quite a lot, that links break, and in particular this year links to videos or videos that are embedded within pages have broken. So please go through, check all the links, make sure they do actually work, and if there are any videos which don't work, get in touch with, again, the learning technologists, myself, Dan and James, and we can fix that. So yeah, good luck. They're the top 10 things to check.